Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 才能让我们远离恐惧。Take down CCP。
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win, we will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人
Let
们
the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down CCP。
The bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down the evil CCP。
Hello, Sunderers. Christopher Sky-Sunderer here. Okay, this is going to be real short because I can't talk very long without having a coughing fit. This edit might sound very choppy because I am going to have to stop to cough a lot. I had COVID back in November, December of last year, and it has left me with this dry, hacking, unproductive cough that just won't let go. I am being treated for it. They tell me it can last up to a year. Anyway, I've been trying to come back. It's very difficult for me to record under these conditions. So what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future is I'm going to be doing much shorter little episodes, thunderclaps I used to call them, right? 10 minutes or less. And that's going to be it from here on out. I got a lot to talk about. I've got a backlog of stuff I've been wanting to talk about, and there's a lot to talk about. Just to go through in a drive-by fashion, Biden killed the dollar a month ago and nobody noticed. Russia proved every conservative and libertarian on earth right about the gold standard yesterday. They put the ruble on the gold standard, and the ruble recovered, the Russian economy recovered. I mean, there are things that are going to have to filter into the markets that'll take time, okay? But it became inevitable. I watched the markets yesterday because I wanted to see, I knew it was going to happen fast. I wanted to see how quick it would happen from the moment they announced they were putting the ruble on the gold standard, how long it took for market forces, for it to become a done deal that the Russian economy could say fuck you to the world and not have to worry about the sanctions anymore? Brace yourself. 5 hours and 14 minutes. I want you to think about that. I'm going to go into this a lot more when I do the episode on this, but for the last 51 years, the US dollar has been off the gold standard since Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. How much human misery? Do you remember Milton Friedman's analogy of the pencil? Look it up. All right, it's no one person could make a pencil the way pencils are today. It takes a global open free market to result in something like a pencil. It would be impossible for any one person to harvest all the materials involved, to machine them the way they need to be, all of that, right? He was making a point about just how far and widespread all the productivity of a free market is, that it's incalculable, right? By that same logic, it is incalculable how much human misery, suffering, and death has been the result of the decline of the dollar, which has been a steady nosedive since 1971. I mean, literally. $20 in 1971, you could load a cart with groceries at the store. It would buy you 5 tanks of gas for your car. Okay, I mean, it would... Anyway. And to see this happen, rinky-dink little Russia. And when I say little, I know it's a big country. I mean their economy. Russia, as a market power, is a fucking joke. They are, as I say, clown shoes. In 5 hours and 14 minutes, just by putting their money on the gold standard, they bounce back to world power status in wartime in the midst of a global depression. So if you can, I want you to imagine what the world's most powerful invention, the United States of America, the world's most powerful economy ever, could do if it put its currency, its money, the global reserve currency, back on the gold standard. I was talking to my buddy Vince last night, and I said, it's kind of like our old adversary, the Soviet Union. Right as we finally administered the killing blow to our own lifeblood, our own money, we finally fucking killed it. And right as we're watching it die, the corpse of our old adversary, the Soviet Union, Russia, sat up and said, "And this is all you had to do to save it. Ha 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 ha." Oh, I'm actually scared of recording that episode because I legit might give myself a stroke talking about it. Anyway, another thing I got to talk about is all of this economic uncertainty, all of this economic crisis. It's pretty obvious it's manufactured. A lot of people confuse propaganda and indoctrination. When I think we're all looking at things that are coming out of the Biden administration, like Biden standing up there and saying, and I'm sick of this, people saying that inflation is caused by government spending. Simply not true. And all this shit. Guys, that's propaganda. And I was telling somebody that online. I can't remember who I was talking to, but they're like, they really expect us to believe this? No. They don't. The point of propaganda is not to convince you. The point of propaganda is to be ridiculous. I mean, that's something else we're going to talk about. Indoctrination is the stuff. People confuse propaganda and indoctrination. Indoctrination is the stuff that's supposed to convince you. That's the really insidious, low-key stuff that they do in public schools and TV shows and movies and music. Propaganda is the really overt, obvious stuff that's not supposed to convince you. It's supposed to make you feel isolated and alone. It's supposed to make you feel like you're going nuts. It's supposed to make you afraid of speaking up. It's supposed to make you feel like you're surrounded by enemies, and that if you stick your head up too far, it's going to get chopped off. That's the purpose of propaganda. That's what cancel culture is. Cancel culture is a component of propaganda. Anyway, we're going to talk about that too. So right there is a lot of stuff we got to talk about. But before we can get into any of that, apparently we've got to get over this Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. We got to talk about this because apparently no one can stop talking about it. So let's cut through the crap, because I can't believe no one sees what's going on here. First of all, look at this. Just look at it. First, let's do this one. Look at this. Just pay attention to Rock here. Pay attention to Chris Rock. Look how he's standing. He's standing squared up. He's making eye contact with Will the whole time. He's braced. His teeth are clenched. His chin is tucked. He's bracing for... He knows he's going to get slapped. He knows that's coming. Look at Will. Right as he throws the slap, he's only throwing it from his elbow. Will Smith is a trained boxer. He had to learn to box when he did the movie Ali. He knows how to throw hands. Okay, he throws this slap from the elbow. He shifts his weight to his back leg when he throws it. It's a sissy slap. Now, I have a background in theater. Okay, I was president of my high school drama club. I acted in community theater productions throughout and after college. In college, I minored in theater. Okay, I have taken numerous courses, lessons in stage combat. I've done combat on stage. This is stage combat. When you make eye contact, that's signaling to the person who's supposed to hit you that you're ready. And yeah, you really get hit. Like when you're a kid and you're doing shows in like grade school or something, then there's a trick where your hands are down or something and you clap them right at the moment the slap is supposed to hit you, because everyone's looking at your face getting slapped, and you turn away and clap your hands like down behind your back or between your legs or something like that, and it looks like you got slapped, right? Oh! But it's not real. But when you're a grown-up and you're doing community theater plays, you if you want it to look good, you get a tacit agreement going between you and your stunt partner. Yeah, go ahead and lay into me. Go ahead and sink them. And the way you let your partner know that you're ready, you're braced, is eye contact. If I haven't made eye contact with you yet, I'm not set, I'm not ready. Once I make eye contact, that means I'm ready. The eye contact is what we use, because we're not going to sit there and nod or say something to each other. We're on stage. That would break the illusion, right? Well, both of these guys know stage combat. And there's Chris Rock making eye contact the entire time, right? Will Smith doesn't throw a slap. He throws a stage slap. Now, why? Let's go back in time to August 4th of 2021. An article from biospace.com. Pfizer's ritlecitinib. By the way, where are my code breakers at? Can you tell me what fucked up, like, apocryphal demon name this is? Or what it is spelled backwards, or what it's an anagram of? Because this is not a word. What? Ritlecitinib. And I looked at it like, could it be something backwards, like Benetickletear? No, that's not right. But yeah, I know I got a couple of guys that listen to this show. Mike, who's a guy that sends questions in all the time. You guys have heard me read some of his questions on the show. Loves stuff like this. Loves breaking codes. And I promise you, this is some kind of a sinister, demonic thing hidden in this name. Anyway, ritlecitinib, I think that's how you say it. Pfizer's ritlecitinib stops alopecia areata in its tracks. Published August 4th, 2021 by Vanessa Doctor RN. Okay. Global pharmaceutical giant Pfizer Inc. has announced that its current trial on a potential treatment for alopecia areata achieved its primary efficacy endpoint. In a statement, Pfizer said that the Phase 2b/3 Allegro trial on the oral once daily. I'm not going to read all of this. Anyway, so they hit their efficacy endpoint. What that means is they've gotten it to the effectiveness point that they're ready to move on into clinical trials, making sure it's safe enough to go and seek FDA approval. Okay? Now let's go over to Pharma Forum, an article published the exact same day. Lilly has a bad hair day as Pfizer rival hits the mark in alopecia. So they're talking about the same Pfizer seeing success with this ritlecitinib drug. And Lilly, Eli Lilly, which is another pharmaceutical giant, is on notice because Eli Lilly has had this market cornered in treating alopecia and hair loss and all that, and here comes Pfizer. Same day, August 4th, over at fiercebiotech.com. Pfizer's ritlecitinib, oh god, I just said it 3 times, didn't I? I'll let you know if I summon anything. Hits goal in alopecia phase 3, setting up showdown with Lilly. So Pfizer's going to be entering into a market race with Eli Lilly in the treatment of alopecia. And it looks like this new drug is going to be a game changer. Okay? 6-7 months is usually about how long it takes for these big giant pharmaceutical companies to get something FDA approved. Okay? So Pfizer's new drug, which they were saying, oh, this is going to kick Lilly's ass, is probably right now just about to get FDA approval. Like, we could hear an announcement any day that this stuff's going to be brought to market. This is going a little further back, April 22nd of last year. Lilly to seek industry first FDA nod in autoimmune hair loss after Olumiant's second trial win. So Olumiant is Eli Lilly's upcoming experimental drug. Now, both of these drugs, Olumiant and ritlecitinib, right? I'm not going to... Anyway, they're both reaching efficacy at the same time. Now look, Biospace, published 2 days ago. Oscar's Slap shines new spotlight on alopecia areata. Some things I want to point out beyond the fact that this, here's what's not in question for me at all. That was a stage slap. I know a stage slap when I see a stage slap. I've been stage slapped. I've been stage punched. I've been stage kicked. I've been stage stabbed. And I've been stage slapped plenty of times, and I know what a stage slap is, and that was a fucking stage slap. It wasn't even a good one. Chris Rock the whole time looks like he's bracing for a slap. He was braced for a slap before Will Smith was on the staircase. Oh, and by the way, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett just happened to be sitting in a table. Will Smith is the one person in the crowd seated closest to those stairs. The stairs that lead right up onto the stage, right to Chris Rock. Will Smith's chair is right next to those stairs. They just happen to be seated right there. Why didn't they just seat them on the stage for this little bit? Secondly, G.I. Jane, that was about the biggest softball joke I've ever heard. Because here's what happened. I promise. They went to them ahead of time, like, he's going to have to say something to insult her bald head. What would be okay with you, Jada? What wouldn't chip that incredibly brittle ego of yours for him to say? And she looked at them with that permanent, smug, yet irritated look that her face always has. And said, compare me to, like, G.I. Jane, I don't know. I promise that's exactly what happened. There is a subtle subtext to that joke, though, that I don't know if anybody's picked up on. I mean, I did. G.I. Jane, Demi Moore. Demi Moore is another middle-aged actress who had a bit of a fidelity problem, who was specifically cougaring around town with a much younger man behind the back of her A-list action star husband. It's a weird kind of a parallel there, don't you think? Now, was Will Smith sharp enough to pick up on that when literally no one else on Earth did, except me, I guess? No, Will Smith is an idiot. Of course he didn't. Also, well, there's another level to this that I'll get to in a minute. But, why would Pfizer necessarily have anything to do with the Oscars? Guys, did you not see this?
BioNTech and Pfizer are proud sponsors of the Oscars.
They fucking sponsored the Oscars. Well, yeah, but wouldn't the Academy have a problem with that? Folks, this is the most anyone's talked about the Oscars in 10 years. Of course they wouldn't. The Oscars ratings have been in a sustained nosedive for the last decade. Somebody in the Sunder the Sky podcast group posted this on Facebook. They said, you know what, if it hadn't been for that slap, I wouldn't have even known the Oscars happened last week. And I'm right there with her. That was my first indication the Oscars had happened, was all the goddamn Will Smith, Chris Rock memes. And here's the final thing I'll say about this. And this is the this is the craziest part of this whole thing. Craziest part of this whole thing. I don't think Jada Pinkett even has alopecia. I don't. Okay, look at this picture. Okay, see that scalp? This is hair loss caused by alopecia. See where the hair is missing? It's like completely bare. Because the hair falls out from the root. Now look at this picture. Okay, there's another one here, much closer. See how where the hair has fallen out? It's just like the hair is just gone. It falls out from the root. How about this? That's alopecia hair loss. Alopecia caused hair loss from the roots. Completely bare. Here's Jada Pinkett. Get a good look at her scalp. Note, all these pictures. I was right, wasn't I? That it's constant. That smug, irritated look on her face. But look at her scalp. She hasn't lost a single hair to alopecia. I don't think she has it. Now, this is just conjecture. This is the part of this I'm least sure of. Everything I've said up until this point, I am at least 99.9 on. The fact that it was staged, I'm 100% on. The Pfizer connection, I'm 99.9 on. It's, does she even have the fucking disease? The only way she really has it is if she was just diagnosed and she just said, you know what, I'm going to shave my head so that when my hair starts falling out, nobody notices. That's the only explanation. Like Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol said if you dress and act older than you are, then when you start to age, nobody notices. Right? It's a weird theory, but he's right. So she could just be saying, once I start to lose my hair. I've known a lot of people who've gotten bariatric surgery, and especially for women, you go through some hormonal changes after bariatric surgery, right? And one of the things that can happen is you have hair loss. Now it comes back, but the woman that I know that had bariatric surgery, she was going to lose her hair and she knew it, so she just got a crew cut preemptively. A really close crew cut like this. You should have gone all the way, Jada. You shouldn't have left that stubble, because everyone can see that you didn't actually lose your hair to alopecia. And if people weren't propagandized sheep that were terrified of standing up and saying things, they would point this out. I'm not scared, so I'll do it. But, she might have alopecia, but I really doubt it. I with the alopecia thing, I'm 50-50 on that. I think it's a real possibility that she doesn't actually even have the disease. That the Smiths and Chris Rock are just being paid to get a public discussion going about alopecia, so that Jada can be the face of this. Because what would they have done instead? They could have, I guess they could have just done one of their standard award presenter bits, right? Chris Rock and Will Smith are presenting an award. So, Will, I hear your wife Jada is battling alopecia. Man, that's tough. Yeah, it's real hard, Well, look at it this way. She could star in G.I. Jane too. I know that's right. But who would have seen that? That wouldn't have done anything to raise awareness, because nobody's watching the Oscars. So this way, everybody's talking about it. You see how that works? What are we at now? 20 minutes, God. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. Talk again soon.
All right, let's make this interesting.